Hello everyone, thank you for joining me today. If this is your first time here, my name is Unwana Udoh, and every week I share great content that can help you master your personal finance and grow your wealth. So in today's video, we're going to look at how to combine your finances after marriage. So let's take a drive. Okay, it's a beautiful day in Connecticut, and I'm currently in Farmington right now, and the foliage are changing, the trees are changing. It's such a beautiful Saturday. So I just wanted to shoot this video just to go over some things that you need to be aware of before you get married and after you get married. So just bear with me, just trying to get on the road here. Lots of traffic today. All right, now before we jump right in, I just want to let you know I am not a tax professional. I am not a financial advisor. Anything I share here is just for entertainment purpose only, and I do appreciate you all being here. So now let's start with what goes on today. Now, according to new statistics I just saw, 50% of all marriages in the United States will end up in divorce. I mean, that is staggering. As you all know, I'm also part of that statistics. I was married for 22 years, and unfortunately things did not work out, and these are some of the lessons that I learned from my marriage. Okay, so let's get right into the road here. Okay, now before you get married, okay, one of the things you need to look at is you need to sit down with your significant other and go over your finances. Now, there are lots of people today that have student loan debt, credit card debt, and all sorts of consumer debt. Now, unfortunately, most people do not sit down to figure these things out before they get married. Now, once you get married, I think it's a little too late at that point to come up with a plan. So you want to make sure that before you get married, you sit down with your significant other and go over your finances and ensure that you are both on the same page. Because if you're not on the same page, what normally happens is once you get married, there's always a couple, or there's always someone that's a spender and there's someone who's a saver. Now, if you're not on the same page, then unfortunately you're headed for divorce, I'm sorry to say. Or if you don't get things in order, you're going to be one of the statistics I'm talking about. So before you get married, you want to make sure that you hash things out, such as your finances, such as, do you want kids? Don't you want kids? How are you going to raise your kids, etc. But in this particular video, I'm only going to address the financial part of things. Now, like I said earlier, there are lots of people that have a lot of debt before they get married. And unfortunately, most couples do not sit down and figure things out. Number one, you want to figure out, are you going to combine your finances? So for most people, it's advisable that you both have separate bank accounts to begin with, so at least you still have that sense of independence. But also you should have a joint account where you put resources into and you use that for your household expenses, such as your rent, such as your mortgage, such as any car payments, bills, utilities, and things like that. So unfortunately, most people do not figure these things out before they get married. And then when you're married, then it's too late and everybody's still acting like they're single, and then you create problems. So you have resentment from the other person because they feel the other party isn't pulling their weight, or the other party is a spender, or the other party is a saver, but I want to spend. So you need to figure these things out before you get married. Now, let's assume that you're married now and you need some help or some advice. Like I said, I am not a marriage counselor. I am not a financial advisor or a tax professional. I'm just sharing content based on my life's experiences. So this is what I suggest you do. Like I said earlier, you want to make sure that you both sit down and ensure that you're both on the same page. You want to figure out, who's going to be responsible for what. So for some couples, they might have a joint bank account where all their resources goes into, which is great. But at the same time, you want to figure out who's going to be in charge of making sure that the bills get paid. So that way there is no confusion, that way there is no misunderstanding when it comes to spending or your personal finances, okay? So that's one thing you want to consider. You want to still have separate bank accounts, okay? But you must have a household account where it's a joint account where both of you put money into. So you decide based on your budget, how much goes in there, all right? So an ideal situation might be you might have your individual paychecks go into each person's account, but you deposit funds into the joint account to take care of your bills, to take care of your expenses, such as your rent, your mortgage, your car payment, utilities, etc. Because what normally happens is most people don't do that, and as a result of that, then you have a situation where no one knows what's going on, no one knows what's happening, and then you end up with situations. Also, if you don't take care of these things before you get married, you will have a situation where you have miscommunication. And when you have miscommunication, this leads to resentment, this leads to arguments, this leads to turmoil, and that trickles down. So taking your personal finance very seriously before and after marriage is essential for the survival of your marriage, because like I said, 50% of marriages in the United States will eventually end in divorce. And unfortunately, what normally happens is finances is one of the reasons why most couples end up getting divorced, okay? Because there's the financial pressure associated with marriage, with raising kids, with debt. If you have a lot of debt and you guys don't figure out how you're gonna pay this debt off, because once you get married to someone, their debt is your debt, okay? It's joint, it's a combined effort now. So you have to come up with a plan once you're married to tackle your debt, okay? Unfortunately, most couples don't do this, and as a result of that, everyone handles each person's debt separately, and you point fingers and you blame the other person for all the spending and all the debt. So you want to make sure that you have a game plan before you get married, and after you get married, you make sure you stick to that plan. You want to stick to the plan, okay? So unfortunately, like I said, I don't want to beat around the bush. Most young couples today do not have a plan before marriage and after marriage, okay? So my advice to you will be, make sure before you get married, if you're single and you're watching this video right now, make sure that you sit down with your significant other and you straighten things out. You figure out, everything in terms of what debt each person is bringing to the table. In some situations, the other person might not have any debt, and the spouse has all the debt, students loans, credit card, personal loans, etc. So my advice would be, sit down with the person and figure things out, because you might find out that based on you sitting down with your significant other and going over your budgets and things, you might find out that, look, I'm not compatible with this person. So there's no point even going ahead with getting married, because you're going to eventually end up, getting divorced. And divorce is very expensive, okay? Divorce is expensive, financially, emotionally, spiritually. It drains you, okay? And I wouldn't wish divorce on anyone, okay? Because it's a very, very life-changing event, okay? So, like I said, you want to make sure that you hash out these things before you get married, because based on statistics also, women are more prone to initiate divorce. So most of the divorce we have today are initiated by women, not men, okay? So, and once you go through divorce, depending on what jurisdiction you're in or what state or how long you've been married, there are things like child support if you have kids. There's also a spousal support or alimony, which you're also entitled, you also obligated to pay. Now, for a guy who's going through divorce, in most cases, you end up moving out of the house. So it gets very expensive because now you're taking care of two families. You're taking care of yourself, and you're also taking care of your kids and your ex that you're divorced from. So it becomes a very expensive proposition because most times, you know, the legal system favors the female or the mother of the kids because they're the ones that will be taking care of the kids, and as a result you have to, you know, pay to support your family or pay to support your ex and the kids. So divorce can be very, very expensive. So which is why I created this video, to let younger couples understand that you want to make sure that before you tie the knot, that you go over your finances together, you sit down and you figure things out and make sure that you're on the same page before you get married. So that's my little rant today, and I just want to thank you for being here again with me. And if this is your first time here and you haven't subscribed yet, please make sure you hit that subscribe button. And I'm also going to apologize for the noise because I am driving. It's such a beautiful day, so I'm taking a little drive. So thank you so much for being here, and as usual, don't forget to hit the thumbs up button if you like my video, and also hit the subscribe button and hit the notification bell so YouTube will notify you of my latest videos. So thank you so much for being here, and I'm just going to share my view right now on what I'm seeing while I'm driving. I'm sure you can see the foliage in the background. It's such a beautiful day, and I hope you enjoy the scenery, and I'll catch you in my next video. Take care. Bye bye. Okay folks, I'll just have you, this is what I'm looking at right now. It's such a beautiful day. You can see the foliage where I am. Such a wonderful day today to be alive. You always want to be grateful for what you have, and I know this video is not about being grateful. It's about being taking care of your finances after you get married. But I just wanted to share the view with you on what I'm seeing in my driving. So I hope you enjoy this, and please make sure, if you're single, if you're not married yet, make sure you sit down and go over things with your significant other so you don't end up being a statistics when it comes to divorce. Okay, thank you so much, and I'll catch you in my next video. Bye bye folks.